Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to each one of you as we gather here for the valedictory session of the 18th All India Conference of China Studies, hosted at the Indian Institute of Management Indore in collaboration with the Institute of Chinese Studies. We bring to a close 3 days of enriching discussions, thought-provoking insights, and deeply engaging exchanges. This year's conference, with the theme Rewriting Globalization, the China Factor in Trade, Technology and Sustainability in a Multipolar World, has been a remarkable journey through the evolving landscape of global interdependence. Over the past few days, our scholars, diplomats and researchers have examined how China continues to shape and be shaped by the dynamics of globalization in an increasingly multipolar and interconnected world. We have explored questions that are central to our times. Through every panel, keynote, and discussion, one message has echoed clearly: that dialogue and scholarship remain the most powerful tools in understanding a world that is constantly being rewired. Today, as we conclude this conference, we not only celebrate knowledge but also the spirit of collaboration that has brought together some of the finest minds in China studies. To commence this session, we are privileged to welcome Dr. Seshadri Cherry, Senior Fellow at the Institute of Chinese Studies, New Delhi, former editor, organizer of English Weekly, former consultant UNDP Yuva, Southern Sudan, project facilitation of participation of women in post-conflict democratic setup and capacity building of political parties in Southern Sudan, member RIS Governing Council, Joint Director, Institute for National Security Studies, Research Director of Chronicles Society of India for Education and Academic Research. Beyond his academic and policy contributions, Dr. Cherry has been deeply involved in fostering dialogue and understanding between India and its neighbors, a commitment that aligns beautifully with this spirit of the conference. We are truly honored to have him with us today to deliver the valedictory keynote address of the 18th All India Conference of China Studies here at the Indian Institute of Management, Indore. We would request ICS Director Professor Alka to felicitate and welcome Sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in warmly welcoming Dr. Seshadri Cherry to deliver the valedictory keynote address.
Thank you for those warm words of introduction. And we are here for the last 2 days, so it's practically it's a very great pleasure to be on the dais with Professor Alka Acharya, Professor Yelleri, and Professor Venkat. We have been sort of working together for quite a long time, so it becomes all the more difficult to give a valedictory speech when I have been more or less like a leg worker in all these conferences. So, and another very difficult situation, they say, is to speak when practitioners of foreign policy like Ambassador Kanta is here. So it's all the more difficult. So because he has been invited by ICS, so I think it's more like a punishment for examination for me now. In the first place, actually, I should admit that I run a China Studies Center in Manipal. I am the chairman of the China Studies Center in Manipal. I also run Center for Indo-Pacific Studies. But these are all more of an administrative work rather than academic work. Although officially I teach geopolitics and international relations in Manipal, but that's besides all the other academic, non-academic work that I do. So when it comes to academic pursuit, the three of them here are actually, you can say, quote unquote, my masters, my gurus here. So then it becomes all the more difficult for me to speak on this kind of a subject. Last year we had the same session in Manipal, and it has been a practice that we continue, like the year before it was in Hyderabad, right? So two of our professors went there and they announced that next will be in Manipal, and the next year is going to be in where? Jadavpur. So it's like a continuation. So if you see the themes so far, from the first to this one, every theme of the conference has been very, very relevant to what is happening today. So if you see the present situation, as the theme has been mentioned here, rewiring globalization, the China factor in trade, technology and sustainability in a multipolar world. So if you see the situation that has emerged today, it very clearly we can see that all these factors are happening. Rewiring globalization, yes. The China factor is getting to be very important as far as trade and technology is concerned. And it is a multipolar world. What was, from 1944 to 1991-92, it was a very different kind of a world. It was more bipolar, US versus USSR. And then we all know how the history progressed. And if you look at the other factor, even before going long before 1944, or say 100 years back, or 200 years, or 2 or 3 centuries back, or if you see the history of the world, this urge to control the whole world has always been there. For example, when Alexander was asked what you ultimately want to do, his idea was the whole world should be controlled. I should be the king of the universe. I should control the world. But he was not able to do it. That's a different story. He was defeated, went back, died ultimately. So he died without controlling the world. He died without becoming the king of the world, universe, or whatever his concept was. If you see the 3 very important ideologies that are existent today also, of course, today we see them more or less, 2 of them at least, as a religious ideology, Christianity and Islam. And if you take the other dogmatic ideology, that is communism, they also said the same thing. the idea of Roman Catholicism. The word Catholic itself means universal. Universal Romanism. So what was Rome? The idea of Rome should become the idea of universe. So the whole world should be Roman. So that's why they very famously say, no, when you are in Rome, do as Romans do. The next sentence is generally not spoken. They say, if you are in Rome, do as Romans do. Elsewhere, do as Romans do elsewhere. That's what they say. So either way, Roman Catholicism. Catholic itself means universal. So universal Romanism, it never happened. It may happen, it may not happen, but at least today it doesn't seem to be happening. The brotherhood, world brotherhood of Islam never happened. There is not a single Islamic country. There are more than 54 countries which have different varieties of Islam, whatever it is. So bringing the entire globe under one ideology never happened at that time also. Same with communism. They spoke of the workers of the world unite. You have nothing to lose but your chains. So they all appeal to the globe, control of the globe, or global ideologies, uniting the globe through war or through economy. The same thing happened with the other things, agencies also, the World Bank, the IMF. They all said, they spoke in terms of globe. International Monetary Fund, it's not Global Monetary Fund, it's beyond nations. So where did they fail? And why did they fail? Was it because of shortcomings of the ideology, or because of the conflict between nationalism and internationalism? The idea of nationalism probably was so strong that internationalism could not overcome that idea of nationalism. So any idea that could exist probably with national ideologies, with nation, probably might have succeeded or might succeed. So if you see in this context, there is one thing that has, it probably has the potential to dominate the world. So everybody wants that particular aspect so that they are part of the global architecture. You call it security architecture, you call it military architecture, you call it economic architecture, whatever it is, the governance architecture. So like that famous Hindi cinema dialogue, मेरे पास घर है, पैसा है, गाड़ी है, तुम्हारे पास क्या है? So now every country is asking another country, तुम्हारे पास क्या है? And that country says, मेरे पास technology है. That is the importance of technology. Whoever has technology rules the world. So that is the importance of technology. And whoever is able to marry technology with trade and defense is able to be more powerful than others. And that is where the China factor comes. How defense and trade have been coordinated with technology and innovation. So ever since the time the wheel was invented, the world changed. And then came the period of colonization, the idea of Industry 1.0, Industry 2.0, Industry 3.0, now we are in Industry 4.0. So it has always been innovation and technology that has dominated, and whoever had the technology dominated the world. This was still about, during the whole of First World War, this was the situation. During the whole of Second World War, it slowly changed. So Second World War brought into very, very sharp focus the importance of combining innovation, technology with military prowess. And this was best done by not by the US. China was not in the picture at all at that time. But it was the Soviet Union which did it best. If I was just going through some of the achievements of Soviet Union, and especially the strides that China has made in the outer space, but it was very interesting that Russia, at that time it was Soviet Union, USSR, Union of Soviet Socialist Republic, was the first to go to outer space with the launch of Sputnik 1 in 1957. We all know that. The first human being to go into space was Yuri Gagarin, we know. Incidentally, this is the 67th year when the first animal was sent to the outer space. It was a stray dog picked up from the road, and without taking the permission of the dog, it was put in the cabin and sent up. And the animal was not supposed to come back at all. And there are so many reports as to saying that it lived for 2 hours, it lived for 20 days, it lived for 200 days, and so many things. But there is nothing permanent, nothing said about it, nothing known about it, because neither the vehicle nor the dog came back to say what it was, how long it lived or how it died. So we don't even know about it. And the spacecraft was burnt out. But that was the first of the Soviet Union. The first artificial satellite, the Soviet Union launched the first artificial satellite Sputnik in 1957. First human in space. And then first crew space flight, the Vostok 1. This was all by Soviet Union. So technology, innovation in every sphere of science, Soviet Union was first. And then this Cold War continued. But ultimately the Soviet Union finally lost the battle in 91. Why? Was it because it was not a democracy? Was it because probably it kept the technology to itself without propagating it? Was it because it was not able to monetize the technology? Was it because it was not able to improve the technology further? Or it was not able to correlate the technology with military power? That itself is a separate issue for study. Someone of us can probably study these aspects also. Why, in spite of being highly innovative and far-fetched as far as technology is concerned, pioneers in technology is concerned, they could not succeed the war which was mainly fought on the basis of technology. What was it that made the US go miles ahead as far as technology is concerned? It's a big question that begs a lot of research and answer. So what is happening today? What is the relevance of this topic today? So again, it is some sort of a technology marathon. That is what we are witnessing today between the US and China. Many of you have read papers regarding China's technology and what are the areas of technology they are doing. So as far as defense is concerned, China has progressed terribly well as far as defense technology is concerned. So I'm not going into the details of the defense technology, but we all know about it. China's use of artificial intelligence, especially artificial intelligence for surveillance, and how they are able to penetrate into the secrets of other entities, countries, companies, innovative areas, research and development, all by using artificial intelligence. And how China has been able to do this capacity building, domestic capacity building. You cannot progress in innovation and technology unless you have domestic capacity building system in place. So it says, one of the papers that I read on domestic technology is, it says, global technology talent competition they have. It describes they have highly evolved domestic education policy, especially as far as technology and innovation is concerned. Attracting overseas Chinese talent, we all know about it, I am not going to the details. And then attracting foreign talent, which is what the Americans did during the Second World War. And they say that science and engineering degrees granted by Chinese universities was 360,000 in the year 2000. In 2015, it was 1.7 million. But still, they have certain challenges, mainly the language. Most of the training is given still in Mandarin. Now there are some universities which have got tie-up with other universities in the world, and they have shifted to English education also. So with Mandarin education, if they could do so much of progress, what will happen if they change over completely, they shift to English language teaching? And if they become proficient, if all Chinese universities become proficient in English language teaching, see the amount of talent and knowledge and technology that they will be able to absorb and funnel back to China. You can imagine the scale at which their growth prospects will be. We know about biotechnology. I was told there is a paper on Chinese biotechnology, even all that. So I don't know if I couldn't attend. But it's enough to say there are more than something like 350 dedicated laboratories only for biotechnology, and how to integrate biotechnology with not only monetize biotechnology but also militarize biotechnology. They are doing it. There are a lot of reports on it, so I won't go into these details also. As far as China and outer space is concerned, there are a lot of reports about it. But I was very interestingly, during Joe Biden's time, NASA had prepared a report, and it just says it's not just the landing on Mars, which is very impressive, but also a couple of landings on the moon, and of course the new construction starting of the low Earth orbit space station. So this is the report of NASA during Biden's time. It says that Mars landing of 550 pounds, that is almost 250 kg, Zhurong rover occurred in May. It put China in select company. Previously, only the United States had managed to land and operate a spacecraft on the Martian surface for an appreciable length of time. So, there is a great amount of worry as far as China's outer space progress is concerned. Same thing with semiconductor industries, and we all know about it. And then China's Ministry of Industry and Information Technology, that is MIIT, in January 24, they released a document. And there are 5 points. It says, future manufacturing. This is there from that document. It's a translation, so I may be wrong on certain words also. Future manufacturing, such as humanoid, robots, industrial metaverse, and biological manufacturing. These are the 4 areas that the China will be concentrating in future. Future information, which includes next generation telecoms, large artificial intelligence models, and quantum computing. Quantum computing is one area where US is far ahead of China. But We do not know at this rate if they progress and their English education improves, they could be probably leaders in quantum computing. Future materials such as advanced semiconductors, holographic displays, and superconducting materials. Future energy, referring to nuclear and hydrogen energy and high efficiency solar cells among others. They already have 2 functioning thorium-based molten salt reactors. And they are both functioning. They have not released the effect of those units, but we have the photograph, we have the details, everything is there. And the future space with target space, deep sea and deep earth development. So the connectivity between space and deep sea mining, that is what they are now linking. So they have certain robotic material architecture which can detect deep sea material from, say, about, they can use a low orbit Earth satellite to check these things, which in itself is a very, it's not a very difficult technology. There are 2 companies in India which have given the same proposal to ISRO, but they are still under consideration, whereas China has gone far ahead in that particular area. Future space, which targets? Future health, advances such as brain computing and interfacing with cellular and genetic technologies. So these are all from their own records, which are published records. There is no secret about all these things. They are openly saying that these are some of the areas where we are going to make a quantum jump as far as technology and innovations are concerned. So what happens in a multipolar world? What will all this lead to? What will this US-China marathon, where will it go? How far will it go? What will happen to the world order if this goes beyond a certain limit? Will it become another Cold War, or will it become a cooperative framework wherein all other countries, these 2 countries will make rules and all other countries will be make followers? So there will be, I mean, like they say, the haves and the have-nots. The world will be divided between 2 segments, the rule makers and the rule followers. There will be 2 rule makers and there will be the rest of the 156 countries also will be rule followers. Is it going to be that, or it is going to be a multipolar world? The fact that we have moved far away from bipolar and then unipolar world, it was China which challenged the America's unipolar world idea in 1995. After that, everything changed. So today, no country can say that the world will be moving towards unipolar world. It's going to be a multipolar world. So in the multipolar world, what has happened today? One thing is sure, China has successfully shaken the foundations of the present world order. Totally shaken. But it has not been able to give an alternative world order. Will it be able to give an alternative world order? It may or may not. Will it be acceptable? Will such a hegemonic order presided over by one country like China be acceptable to the rest of the world? If the world order that was dictated by USSR was not acceptable to the rest of the world, why would a world order dictated by China should be acceptable to the whole world? That's a question mark. Or will they change? What if they change? If China decides to emulate a democratic dispensation, let us say, will it again happen like Glasnost and Perestroika, which ruined USSR? In spite of being technologically far advanced and ahead of US, where did they fail? Was Perestroika and Glasnost reasons for the failure of USSR to emerge as a leader of the globe? So these are all some of the questions that we should be looking at in the coming days. So what is it going to be? Is technology going to be an albatross around China's neck, or it's going to be the ship which they will sail towards being a global superpower? That is the question that many of you have discussed in these last 2 days. I just was able to get insight into some of the papers, not all the papers. But I admit that I am not a competent person to speak on these subjects here in front of scholars like you. So I just tried to put some thoughts cogently and presented my views. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for delivering such an insightful and inspiring keynote address. Your words have truly added immense value to the conclusion of this conference. We now move forward to the special closing remarks. May we invite Professor Alka Acharya, Director of the Institute of Chinese Studies, to share her thoughts as we bring the 18th edition of AICCS to a close.
Thank you. And this is indeed one of the most soul-satisfying moments in all these conferences that we have organized and held. And as I stand here at the conclusion of 2.5 very intense days, I'm extremely struck that despite being absent, Dr. Chari has managed to echo so many of the themes that we have been talking about. He has managed to actually raise precisely the questions that came up in all the sessions. So sir, you have proven that you are the master of us all here. Well, no, but the fact remains that this has been a theme that has found very rich resonance in the minds and papers and explorations over the last 2 days. As Dr. Chari mentioned, that in the last 18 years, the AICCS has covered so many themes ranging from high politics and ideology at one end to questions of foreign policy, international relations, security, strategy, the Communist Party, literature, culture, and in each conference you all can obviously access our websites and see the reports which go way back. Each of the conferences has most interestingly and rewardingly fulfilled the expectations with which we start, which is to draw the best and the brightest of minds which are engaged in the study of China and showcase their work, their ideas, their explorations. Most of them have gone on to greater and greater heights. I have 2 people right here who started off as very young kind of explorers in this journey, and today they are themselves teachers and thought leaders. So for us, the AICCS is both a talisman and a promise. And the fact that we put all our energies and all our resources into taking this all over the country is both because of the tremendous energy that we get at each of these conferences and the kind of feelers we get from other places asking us to bring this conference there. It is my very, very pleasant, I won't say duty, just a very pleasant and very happy task to thank the IIM. Unfortunately, Director Himanshu Rai cannot be with us. It's a pity because I would have liked to express my thanks to him in person as well. But Venkat would undoubtedly convey those. This has truly been one of one experience of a kind. The beautiful ambience, the arrangements, the meticulous preparation, the sessions that went on, all this is obviously going to come out in the convener's report and the vote of thanks. But on behalf of the Institute, our chairperson is on her way, and our former director also is here, Ambassador Kant. On behalf of the people who are affiliated with the ICS, I would like to express my thanks for this marvelous putting together of a conference that has shown the path ahead. The topic, as was mentioned, resonates to all quarters of this country today. But above that, what also struck me was that it was not just oriented towards current concerns or what should India do. I think the scholars here brought out deeper and much more fundamental kind of questions undergirding these issues that are technology and rewiring and technology and sustainability and so on. So that is really what we were looking for, and we found it, the inquiring mind which seeks to question, to explore. I would request you all to continue to be affiliated with the Institute. Please do write to us. We would like to add you on to our groups. We have an ICS Google group which grows in strength day by day. Through that, you will come to know about the many activities that the ICS does. You can be a part of it. Quite a lot of it is online as well. We would also request you to, through us, access the wider network of scholars on China studies, East Asian studies across the country who have been with us in this 18-year-long journey. And so, with the hope and expectation that may this tribe grow, I thank you all once again and look forward to seeing some of you at least in Jadavpur next year. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Professor Acharya, for those deeply insightful closing thoughts. Your vision and leadership continue to inspire meaningful India-China scholarship year after year, and your reflections today truly bring this conference to a full circle. We now invite Professor G. Venkatraman, the convener of the 18th AICCS, to present the conference report encapsulating the highlights, learnings, and outcomes of the past 3 days of deliberations.
Very good afternoon to all of you. Let me begin by saying that me and organizing committee are very grateful to IIM Indore Director Himanshu Rai for helping us arrange this conference. Ever since I approached him, he said that, do whatever, Venkat, but ensure that it should be a world-class conference. And when I said this to Professor Alka Acharya, she was also saying the same thing, that it's high time we take the standards of the conference few notches higher. And ever since, we have been preparing for this conference for a year, and here we are. So I would like to thank Professor Himanshu Rai. I would like to thank Professor Alka Acharya for encouraging us to arrange this conference. But let me tell you something which I was sharing with one or two people, but I'd like to share it with a larger audience today. I would like to thank from the bottom of my heart Chari sir, And there are many reasons, but two very important, interesting reasons are this, that you see, since the inception of AICCS, it has been the tradition of AICCS that we invite the previous year's conveners to the subsequent conference. So last year we had this in Manipal, and last year two of our young colleagues based in Manipal in SIR's Center for China Studies, Amrita and Anand. Unfortunately, it so happened that despite so much of planning, both Amrita is out of country today, she is in Poland, pursuing her research work, and Anand is engaged with a workshop in which he is indispensable. So I was just wondering that this lovely tradition is going to get broken this year. But look at how things shape up. And when the director said that it is Seshadri sir who's going to deliver the valedictory address, all the missing, the missing puzzles and all that, in the jigsaw puzzle got resolved. And here is, and the tradition remains continuing, that we have, have the person who mastered the idea, or who guided the whole idea of 17th AICCS. He has become the, valedictory speaker at the 18th AICCS. So this is God's way of doing things. But there is another very important reason why we should be grateful to Chari sir. It was he who actually put this chip in me, at least, that we can organize this conference in a very professional way, and the funds should not be a problem for that, because there's always a funding problem in our country to a certain extent. And he is the first person in the history of AICCS to get funding from MEA's, PPNR. And as it was over last time, I was thinking, why should I not try it? And I applied to AIC, PPNR for funding in March. And in June, I got the call from the Joint Secretary at that time, and it was music to my ears. And, again, MEA. So the idea has actually come from him, so we are very grateful to him. This submitting or presenting this report is something which I don't enjoy as a convener. Because, we have the program here, we have the book of abstracts, we'll have a report with the ICS website soon, not in a fortnight, in 45 days or 2 months. And most of you have been attending these programs. So if you want to learn what has happened in this program, I have this book. So then what should I say? So I thought that I'll do something different. And for lack of a better word, and as a convener, not that I have become old, but I have some advice for our younger scholars. I'm young, you are younger. So my thing is, first of all, it is, so much of work has gone to make a conference web page. There is a conference theme. And then there is a description that the special theme is only one part of it. This annual conference is to bring together scholars from diverse disciplines dealing or engaging in China studies, and they can present. Whether it is, so just because it is, rewiring globalization, China factor in trade, technology, sustainability in a multipolar world, this doesn't mean that this conference doesn't have space for Confucius, Rabindranath Tagore, and what happened to Panchsheel. So, read the conference webpage. And it is not necessary to force-fit the research that you are doing to conference theme. You're not supposed to do that. You're doing a great deal of injustice to the cause of AICCS and a greater deal of injustice to your own research, actually. As long as your research is having a certain quality, we are more than open to have it. And this year, at least, I have made an attempt to give 3 months' time for paper submission. But even then, unfortunately, reality is always bitter, but I should tell this reality, that there has not been much of a improvement in the paper quality. In fact, we have said that no MA this time. But the news is not very good. So therefore, I request that, to take this conference seriously. And in order to incentivize, one of the things which we thought we can do is we should give flight tickets to all our younger guys also. No discrimination between thematic panels and special panels. So that you go to your friends and tell that, there is this conference worth going. This is not, a walk in the park. So let's work for it and let's, do something to get it. And let's promote the cause. Let's join the army of promoting Sinology. Not because, China is very important. China is going to become superpower. But as I keep on harping to my students that learning China is not, we are not doing a favor to China. We are doing a favor to ourselves and our country's national interests. And in current times, we don't need to go to Galwan and fight a war with, the Chinese, PLA there. If we are doing our job here, what has been entrusted to us, we are serving the national cause. So place this, I would like you to keep these few things in mind. I hope I am not sounding as someone who is giving quote-unquote gyan, but I am trying to speak from my heart. So this conference, we had, just for the benefit of Chari sir, I'm telling because he was not there, sir, we have received this time 160 abstracts, which is unprecedented in the history of AICCS. And last year, with due respect to MIT, Manipal, no fault of Manipal, but last year 80 abstracts came, 81 or 82. So this time we have actually called for 81 or 82 papers, not abstracts. And then after 2 rounds of review, we ended up choosing 36 papers. And we also, keep in mind that it should not be a Delhi or Bombay-centric conference. So we see the quality of the paper for sure, but we also see that we have as much as possible pan-Indian representation and see if there are potential places in the country where China centers can be, nurtured. So that's the objective with which we, operate. And therefore, that's how we went about choosing the papers and all that. So therefore, we had 10 thematic panels, and we had 5 special panels. One of the most interesting things about this panel, and which we have been discussing, is, beyond a point, we keep on seeing the same people, in every conference. But this time we planned that we should be getting a set of people who many of the people don't know, but they know China by the back of their hand in the domain with which they deal. So therefore, we decided that we are going to have people who are policymakers, who are CEOs, and what happens at the ground in China, you don't get to read that in books, articles. These are stories of people who have been at the ground and who have been trying to understand. They have their own unique story to share. And we wanted that to happen. And you yourself would have experienced that I saw so many people getting tired, but they were not leaving their seats. They just wanted to take as much as possible. In fact, someone like Ambassador Ashok Kanta, who is a keynote speaker, he was the one who actually led the way, because keeping in mind his age, his seniority, he himself was there to be in as many sessions as possible. It was very inspiring, sir. So therefore, we had those special panels, and we had a special panel on the traditional state of the field. And in the state of the field, we saw young, scholars who are invested in different aspects of China studies, society and culture, technology, politics, foreign policy, and labor as well, domestic politics and governance-related issues. The second, special theme was something which was dealing with. So the second, this is a thematic panel, sorry. So the second thematic panel was on doing business in/with China, voices from Indian business leaders. Because this is an IIM and your focus is on addressing management issues, trade issues, so we thought that it is very apt that we have a session, and we have been very, very fortunate to have people like CEO of Fugu Mobile, Mr. Ravi Shankar Bose, CEO of ACE Micromatic International, Mr. C.R. Raghuramchandran, Mr. Diwai Pranav, Head Mobility Domain, Last Mile Mobility, E3W and E4W, Hyundai Motors, and Mr. Fanikiran Imanini, who spent 17 years in China setting up the SBI and ICICI operations in China. So it was, everyone was quite encapsulated by what they had to say. Then we had a very animated special panel which was titled Tariff Wars and Trade-offs, Can India and China Find Common Ground? And again, here we had someone very senior like Dr. Rajan Sudesh Ratna, who's Deputy Head and Senior Economic Affairs Officer at UNSCAP. We had Santosh Pai, who is into legal consultancy in the India-China bilateral trade ties. Dr. Arvind Yelleri, who is an associate professor in JNU. So this was again a very, very enriching session. It included Professor Murli K from Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, which actually is consulted by the Ministry of Commerce. He is also the administrative head of Center for WTO Studies. Day 2, we had a special panel, Rewiring Globalization, Trade Technology and Sustainability, China Factor in a Multipolar World. And as convener, I did chair this particular session, but again, we had some stalwarts like Dr. Amitendu Palit, who spoke on trade-related matters. We had, Professor V. Ramakrishna, who is a very, very brilliant academician, apart from being a very, very genuine human being who is always out there to mentor the people who are junior to him. So Professor Ramakrishna was there harping on this India, China, and US technological issues. Then we had Birottam Datta, who is relatively a young person, but he has had a long, stint with China, and he did dwell on the sustainability issue. Ambassador Smita Purushottam brought in, something which is being talked about big time, that is digital sovereignty, and one of the most important, issues that is is going to impact India's interests is, digital sovereignty. So we had that, and then yesterday we had, the concluding session, which was on China's technological advances and potential areas of future trade restrictive measures. This was a panel proposal proposed by Ambassador Ashok Kanta, and 3 of us, including me, I spoke on China's disruption of tech value chains. Dr. Pranay from Taxila spoke on foundational factors behind China's tech trajectory, and Dr. Antara Ghoshal from ORS spoke on geopolitics of technology, and she harped on the Chinese domestic discourse. Most importantly, brought in certain aspects from the social media, conversations that are happening, which we all are not privy to. I'm not going to go into the thematic panels one by one, but I thought, as in the convener's report, I would focus more on the special, panels. Now, Dr. Arvind Yelleri is going to follow me, and in his capacity as co-convener, he's going to deliver vote of thanks. But the problem with co-conveners delivering vote of thanks is there is no one to thank the co-convener. So I thought, I'll thank the co-convener. So yeah, all beautiful things come to an end. It will be business as usual from tomorrow, yet another manic Monday. So let's work to deserve our break again at Jadavpur University to be part of 19th AICCS. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Venkat, for your impactful and thought-provoking speech. The All India Conference of China Studies has always been more than just a 3-day event. It is a continuing dialogue that travels across India, enriching our collective understanding of China and the broader world. As the 18th edition draws to a close here at IIM Indore, we now look ahead to the next chapter of this remarkable journey, the 19th All India Conference of China Studies, to be hosted by Jadavpur University, Kolkata. We are delighted to have with us Mr. Shani Naskar, faculty at Jadavpur University, who will share a few words of appreciation for this year's conference and formally welcome all delegates to the next edition of AICCS. A professor at the Department of International Relations, Jadavpur University, Kolkata, she has worked on Indian foreign policy issues, particularly focusing on Act East sub-regionalism in the Indo-Pacific and cultural diplomacy. She has delivered lectures at Chinese Foreign Affairs University, Washington College, USA, and delivered online lectures in the Philippines and Chile. She was the SUSI Fellow sponsored by the Government of the United States. Professor Naskar was a visiting fellow of the EU-sponsored Sinopharm project at the University of Palaki. Ma'am, it's an honor to have you here with us today.
Thank you very much. Their personal thanks to be given to my good friend Venkat, who I've met after 3 decades. So it's a pleasure to be at IIM. And Alka ma'am has always been there with us at Jadavpur. I have seen her in my student days, though I was not directly her student. But as you know, the JNU family is, we keep on getting back to JNU days. So yes, all good things have come to an end. And frankly, this was my maiden venture here at the AICCS. And it has been a marvelous kind of feeling. My bad, I've missed the first day. But since yesterday, I realized that there is a lot of churning happening about China and in the Indian academic community amongst practitioners. So this has been really a very enriching session, 2-day session for me, and I really take back a lot of food for thought. And I really look forward on behalf of my center, which is the Hari Prasanna Center for India-China Cultural Studies, the Jadavpur Association of International Relations, and the Department of International Relations, Jadavpur. We look forward to welcome you in the city of joy in my university next year. The dates have already been mentioned. It's like 19th to 21st of November 2026. We will start working. We do not exactly have the themes. We are tossing a few, and we will do it in consultation with the AICCS. And once we have it, we will start, the process roughly around the end of the year. So we set the ball rolling, and after a year, we'll all see you again. And I hope it will be another exciting session. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for that heartfelt message. We eagerly look forward to seeing the 19th edition come alive at Jadavpur University, continuing the legacy of this scholarly tradition. To extend our gratitude to everyone who made this conference a success, the speakers, delegates, and researchers, we now invite Dr. Aravind Yelleri, co-convenor of the conference, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you. This is the last time I'm going to speak in front of you, so bear with me. So before I just read out this thing, because vote of thanks is a small task, but with the biggest responsibility, because one doesn't really want to be careless here. I want to be very careful about whoever contributed in whatever form they were associated with this forum. So it was since last year, Venkat did not have good sleep. He's going to have tonight, I think, once he is off. We both as students were presenting in AICCS. The journey of AICCS has been remarkable. We were also nervous, scared, like most of you were coming and talking to me, we were nervous. We were also nervous and scared because we were presenting in front of our teachers, colleagues. It was big, competing, compelling to be presenting a paper which is convincing, not self-convincing, but also convincing for the others. So it's the biggest thing when you present a paper. And one of my PhD students were asking me, do you prepare for this presentation? I said, of course, yes. We also prepare. So what I want to underline is that this has been never-ending process to be a teacher and a student of China studies. And it is an opportunity for me to standing next to my senior, Professor Venkat, my teacher, Professor 𝐀𝐥𝐤𝐚, my super teacher, Sheshadri, my boss, once upon a time I served under him, Ambassador Kant, and then my students, colleague, and professional friends over here, my classmate, Parimal over here. A small world, but you end up learning and enriching the entire platform. That's the beauty of AICCS. AICCS is not just one off-beat occasion we come and talk to each other. This is the process. We want to get everyone along and try to build the momentum. And that is the idea and the beauty of AICCS, which you will not find in any forum. I can bet on that anything you want me to. There is no forum like this one. So with that, I start my formal vote of thanks. A big shout out to the leadership at IIM Indore and ICS. This is very important, I must mention. You truly made this event memorable and full of energy. Without your involvement, none of this would have been possible and would have come together so far. So please, a special round of applause for Professor Rai, Professor Acharya, Professor Venkat for their continuous support and enthusiasm. The organizers would like to formally thank the two eminent personalities, Ambassador Kant. I said he was my boss once upon a time, and Professor Chari, for taking out time and gracing the sessions. I absolutely endorse what Venkat said. In last 3 days, I've seen Ambassador Kant going from session to session, paying attention, raising points, and asking questions. I mean, at this age, you will never see that energy. Sometimes we feel ashamed, sometimes we are running for coffee, but he will skip it, and he will make sure that he goes and talks to young scholars. So that's very important over here. So the conference was greatly benefited from your involvement, sirs. And it was not only about your deliberations, but also about your participation in various sessions, the exchange of opinion and frank contesting conversations, which are the spirit and characteristics of AICCS and forums like this. Again, I don't want to thank Venkat here because I said, he burnt more of his blood than anybody else. I'm being very frank over here and shameless also. He was actually bothering us. He was telling us, why don't you reply? Why don't you come? He was very restless. You have also seen, I'm telling you something, as my senior, he is very emotional. He looks very strong, but he is. Thank you. Okay, then I must thank the young scholars here. See, selection of papers is not an easy job. See, you have to write for abstract. Most of the abstract, when you write abstract, you expect that you don't know whether those are going to make it, where not. 160 abstract. Can you imagine 160 abstract when we started funneling them? It was not an easy job. It was a very difficult job to funnel the best of the abstracts. Because in the period of past 18 years, the AICCS has built a brand and also a forum and a standard where we want to not compromise the quality upon that. He had his own comments about the quality. I also do have the comments on the quality of the abstracts we received, and the paper presenters did the job over here. But let me underline one thing, the energy, the young scholars have shown to be committed to the entire process is absolutely remarkable. I really need to thank all of you for your patience and calmness. And also I want to put a star and a caveat there. If you felt anywhere that we were bullying you, I must say we are not very sorry for that. So we did it for your good, and we will never be sorry for what we did, trying to bully you. But what you will see in next few years coming forward, you will turn out to be the best and the fine practitioners and professionals in your fields. With that, also I want to thank all the practitioners Venkat mentioned. This is something very unique. Most of these professionals at a short notice and knowing that, what AICCS is waiting for them, are going to serve them. All practitioners, professionals, field experts made themselves available to come for this flagship event. That's something very remarkable. So we are, from the bottom of my heart, hearts. We are really thankful for their roles and then whatever they contributed during the special sessions and the key takeaways. Now about the student volunteers. It's very important, since the day we came, we saw a bag on our tables. There was a flask, there was a cup, there was a program. Then you have the nice name cards. Then you have the Nandi, Baswanna, Basveshwar, whatever you call it. Everything was made so possible, flawless. This is very important. The AICCS, when they team up with the local host, I think the entire idea is to prepare or to make it such that the volunteers take part and learn also over the period of time. So our sincere gratitude to student volunteers from IPM and doctoral programs and the ever-efficient IIM Indore staff led by Chief Administrative Officer Colonel Gopinath Pamide. Thank you so much. You have been thoroughly proficient. Not notch, but you have raised the bar that it has become a permanent world record. I don't know whether we are able to compromise on that. Then I must also thank you again formally. I did that on the first day when we began. I must thank you, the PPNR division of MEA. They have been, unsurprisingly forthcoming. They did a lot to make this event successful along with ICSSR. I mean, their contribution is very important, not letting the idea of China studies die on, giving a major hope that, it will take off one day. I want to also not forget few names here. Thanks also to Aparna Srivastav from the Communication Studio, and to Bhupendra Pandey, Satyendra Gond, and Vijay Dadlani. Along with the facilities, travel, transport, and executive residence team, special mention to Mr. Anup Maleri and Deepshika. I mean, fantastic job. It was really little bit, I know when we went back, it was little laid back, nice evening to see trees and, nice rooms you have been prepared for us. A round of appreciation for the media team led by Ananya Mishra and wonderfully supported by Riya Jain. A heartfelt thanks to Shubhanjali. She's somewhere hiding behind, I think. Oh, she's there. Fantastic. Good. Who has been doing, she was like a shadow of Venkat. So whenever Venkat was not around, we were like relieving. And then she would come and intervene and say that, come on, stop it. It's too much, taking too long. Thank you, Shubhanjali. You have been absolutely good. Along with the researchers, along with the paper presenters, the staff, I want to also mention a small contingent from CCCS. You were like hovering everywhere around, asking questions, taking down your notes, but your presence is very important because after all, you all are ICS-led forum products. We are proud of you. So thank you for being here. Last but not the least, our sincere gratitude to the ICS team. Snigdha? Okay, thank you so much. Mr. P.R. Singh, and also our dearest Mr. Ram Singh ji, who has been sticking around with us throughout all these years. So thank you, everyone. Thank you once again, personally, professionally, academically, non-academically, whatever I could say that. And I look forward, Professor Ishani, thank you so much to you also for taking out time coming here and giving us, graciously inviting us for next year's event. Even if you don't want to see us, we'll definitely come. We are shameless. Wherever Chinese studies, as they say in the famous movie, wherever there is a dinner served, we go shamelessly. So wherever you're serving China studies, we will come and attend that shamelessly. Thank you once again. Thank you so much. And once again, big cheers for Professor Venkat for organizing this thing in a big way. Thank you.
Sparked here will no doubt extend beyond this hall into classrooms, policy dialogues, and future research collaborations. And that is the true measure of success for a conference such as these. As we conclude, we extend our deepest gratitude to all our distinguished speakers, paper presenters, discussants, and participants for their contributions, insights, and engagement. A special word of appreciation goes to the organizing team from IIM Indore and the Institute of Chinese Studies for their meticulous planning and seamless execution. To our partners, volunteers, and staff, thank you for your commitment and hard work. And to our delegates, thank you for your curiosity, your questions, and your passion for scholarship. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we formally bring to a close the 18th All India Conference of Chinese Studies. May the dialogues we have begun here continue to inspire learning, bridge understanding, and shape a more interconnected and sustainable world. We wish you all a pleasant evening and safe travels back home. Thank you. Please rise for the national anthem.
तव शुभ नामे जागे, तव शुभ आशीष मांगे।